Police pulverized protesters in the Capitol tunnel on January 6. Julie Kelly at America Greatness just 2 weeks ago said in 2018, after a local news crew filmed Ryan Nichols rescuing dogs abandoned by their owners after Hurricane Florence, the former Marine appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Not only did DeGeneres commend Nichols' longtime work as a search and rescue volunteer, she donated $25,000 to the Humane Society in his name and gave Ryan and his wife Bonnie a $10,000 check to pay for the honeymoon they had missed the year before so Ryan could assist rescue efforts in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. But instead of heading to Hawaii, the Nicholses used the donation to buy a rescue boat. With his Marine buddy and best friend, Alex Hartwriter, at his side, the pair has participated in literally dozens of hurricane rescues and disaster relief efforts, according to Julie Kelly and attorney Joseph McBride, Nichols' defense attorney. 3 years after his appearance on the DeGeneres show, however, Nichols was featured on another program. But this time, Nichols spoke from the fetid confines of political prison in the nation's capital. And instead of telling a heroic story of saving dogs, drowning in rising floodwaters, Nichols told Newsmax host Greg Kelly this harrowing tale. Watch.
Back in court. What's going to happen next?
We're due back in court on December 20th. Right now, we have put a motion in that just talks about the level of police brutality that took place on January 6th. We went to go protest. And, we showed up in good faith on January 6th to protest the election results, but never would have imagined we'd encounter the horrors we did on the West Terrace and in the tunnel that day. We feel targeted and hated by our government and are being punished in this jail as pretrial detainees. Many of us here have been honorably discharged with no criminal history. I'm personally a United States Marine search and rescue specialist, and when I saw women being beaten and in distress, my rescue instincts kicked in, and I knew I had no choice but to help rescue them. As soon as I saw Officer Fanone in distress, I pointed at him and took action to help rescue him also. So my participation in Officer Fanone's event, no doubt, helped save his life that day, and this is all proven by video. Yet I still sit in solitary confinement along with the other January 6ers awaiting my day in court. I love my country. I served my country honorably for 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, and I still look for ways to serve with my nonprofit Rescue the Universe. I understand and accept that not everyone agrees with my stance and my beliefs, and that's okay. I love my country and our citizens regardless. Because of people like you, Greg Kelly, along with Newsmax, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Louis Gohmert, and Joseph McBride, we feel the love that many, many Americans give us in return. And we still can't help but to feel the hatred from our government, though, towards us. And I hope that changes one day.
Nichols' account is detailed in an appalling new court filing that confirms what American Greatness has reported for many months. On January 6, D.C. Metro and Capitol Police assaulted nonviolent protesters with explosive devices, rubber bullets, tear gas, and in some cases, their own fists and batons not intended to be used on humans. A tunnel on the lower west side of the Capitol building became a dangerous and likely for at least one protester, deadly battle scene as police viciously attacked American citizens on the hallowed grounds of the United States Congress. Nichols of Texas has been behind bars since his January 18th arrest. He sits in the D.C. jail specifically used to house January 6th detainees, charged along with his friend Hartwriter with multiple offenses, including assault of a police officer, civil disorder, and unlawful possession of pepper spray. So what on earth turned two decorated veterans with a history of helping people in crisis into insurrectionists who attacked police officers? Well, you heard him. It was what they saw when they approached the tunnel at around 3 p.m. on January 6th. They heard people screaming in pain and crying for help, women and old men being bloodied and injured, according to Attorney McBride in his motion seeking Nichols' release. He also said training instincts kicked in, as he said in the video, and they head to the tunnel, wondering if an accident had happened and if other people were even more seriously injured. McBride said he viewed 3 hours of surveillance video captured by Capitol security cameras. The extensive system captured at least 14,000 hours of footage that the Justice Department and Capitol Police are desperate to keep away from you, the public, and described for the first time what happened inside the tunnel, where a combination of DC and Capitol Police ostensibly were stationed to prevent protesters from entering the building. Just after 4 p.m., Ryan is sprayed multiple times by an officer standing on a ledge in the tunnel. McBride wrote in a November 1 filing. He is also separated from a woman who stood next to Ryan at different times at the Western Terrace. She was middle-aged and nice. Ryan promised to keep an eye on her. The woman was wearing a red shirt and a MAGA hat. Shortly thereafter, officers began terrorizing people in and around the tunnel. People are screaming and getting crushed. There's a pile of human beings stacked on top of each other at the tunnel entrance. People are trapped, and there is nowhere to go. McBride focused on the conduct of one officer in particular in his filing with badge number L359 and wearing a white shirt. The unidentified officer begins to, quote, beat a man for no apparent reason and beats the man and calls over to the woman with the MAGA hat. At this point, according to the security video, the officer turns his sights on the woman. And then, for reasons that no fair-minded or decent human being will ever understand, the officer wearing the white shirt turns his attention to the woman and begins to pulverize her, McBride explained in his filing. The weapon this officer appears to be using is a collapsible stick designed to break windows in emergency situations. This stick is neither designed nor to be used against another human being. For the next several minutes, between 4 p.m. and around 4:15 p.m., the officer in a white shirt relentlessly beats the woman. McBride furnished a literal blow-by-blow account in the court document that Ms. Kelly puts in her article. These assaults occurred about 10 minutes before the lifeless body of the woman, Roseanne Boylan, could be seen lying on the ground just outside the tunnel. Most of the violent brawls between police and protesters take place near this tunnel in response to what McBride calls overwhelming police brutality and misconduct. Body-worn camera footage released by the courts and seen on this show before show Boylan on her side, not moving, as her friend Justin Winchell begged for help. She's going to die, Winchell tries to scream while holding on to Boylan. He turns to the crowd. I need somebody, anybody, he pleads. She's dead. She's dead. Future court filings, interviews, and security footage will slowly reveal to the public how law enforcement, beginning at around 1 p.m. that day and continuing for hours, attacked and beat American citizens who dared to protest the election of Joe Biden. Further, it will become clear that Joe Biden's Justice Department, with compliance by the D.C. District Court judges, are keeping several eyewitnesses to the terror in the tunnel behind bars, awaiting trials, delayed until at least the middle of 2022. That is unacceptable, folks. Unacceptable. Nichols' hearing for bond is set for December 20th, at which point he'll have been incarcerated for more than 11 months. He has no court date. Much more to come as American greatness continues to expose the truth about January 6th. Follow this great American, Julie Kelly, at @Julie_Kelly2 on Twitter. Pray for our country. Pray for these men and women. And pray for the complicit judges that are apparently allowing this political persecution to occur in what was once a free land.